Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426, and today we have something interesting to review. So this is the Mega Man Copy X model kit from Eastern Models. So I believe in the past they did actually make the Mega Man Zero model kit, and I wasn't really aware of it, and I was never a big fan of Mega Man Zero himself, of the design. But I did like the design of this one, which was Copy X. I do know the story behind Copy X. I haven't played the game directly, but I have seen other people play it, and I have read a lot of articles regarding the game, so I have a general idea. So as I mentioned, this is a model kit, so this is a kit that you actually build like Gunpla, but this one is from Eastern Models, and as far as I can tell, according to research, they are officially licensed to make these products. So, and this kit was actually really great than I expected. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about this kit, so let's get on to the review right away. So let's talk about components. This thing comes with a lot of stuff. So first of all, I'd like to mention one on the back. So you see that big giant effect part. Yes, that you actually do get this big giant effect part, and this is actually there's a sensor inside. If I press on it anywhere, or if it feels any bumps on it, the inside sensor will activate and will light up like this. This is amazingly cool. So inside there is basically a huge LED unit. And on the box you see here, this is where the effect part actually came in. This giant effect part was actually inside this box. The LED unit was not inside here together. I'll get into that later, but I just wanted to mention that out. So Eastern Models, they were really working, they were really considerate on all these small details going on here. And let's talk about more of the components that you're supposed to have and use. So here are more effect parts. So this is supposed to be like a blast effect part. So you can actually use this together with the big giant blasting effect part with the Mega Man Xbuster. However, this one, the tricky part is that this thing also has its own action base hole connector here. So you're gonna have to use two of the action bases. You have to use two action base connectors in order to use these together. So it's not like this one can connect to this one. So that's a kind of a tricky part, but if you want to do so, you are able to do it. And here we have some dashing effect parts. I'll try to demonstrate these as much as possible, but once again, it does require you to have a very, very long action base connector, but still works. So you have the middle one, you have the one for the left and right. Definitely loving these. These actually came on plot plates, so there's no these side ones did require some assembly, but very simple. This one did not require any assembly with the big one. So I'm a big fan of these effect parts. And here we have some Xbuster shot effect parts. So these are the small blasting effect parts. So here's an example of how when it's attached. And in order to attach it here, you need to have this red piece and go inside here. But once again, I would like to mention it's really hard to lock this piece inside into the Xbuster because it has to go into a very specific direction. But once you have it in, it's really no problem to attach it here. So this one, I kind of messed up the peg, or technically the hole here, I kind of messed it up. So it's not gonna be easy for me to display this thing. And as you can see, you get two Xbusters. So I just wanted to, I put it like this in to give you guys a general idea. So you can flap these parts open up, and they actually do give you LED gimmicks to put inside the Xbuster. So I only applied to one just to show you guys how the LED gimmick unit works. So the way how it works is that this one is empty. This one actually has it. So on here, I believe this is the button. Okay, yeah, if this is the button, and if you turn it on, definitely, it's just a yellow, just a blank white LED. So you have to apply the red clear part to give it a more better look. But yeah, even though you have the LED, it's not the best, color, and it doesn't really give out that shine. I was expecting the shine to go through the effect parts, but apparently not. So, but once again, if you want to turn it off, just click it again. Oops, wrong button. Wait, there we go. You just click it again, and it will turn off. Unlike the big one, this one, the large one, actually uses a different LED part than this. So as I mentioned, it works on when I touch it, and then it will turn off automatically after a few seconds. And yeah, you get two of these, and definitely good. So if you always want to have a Mega Man X or an X character to have dual wield their blasters, you can do it now. I mean, I've always wondered, since his arm can turn into an to the Buster, I always thought the other arm could do the same thing. But oh well. I'll leave it over there, and we get some hands. So these hands actually come in pre-painted. So I did not paint these. These came as a They were not on plot plates. They were in a separate bag. So you get a set of fists like that and a set of open hands, and that's pretty much it. So I definitely appreciated that part. And here is the LED gimmick. So as I mentioned, the one on the large section goes into that effect part, and then we get 3 of that may look similar but not exactly. So these 2 are actually meant for the Xbuster. So they go in there, and as I mentioned, I kind of understand how they work, because I believe on the back, yeah, there is a button gimmick where you put the batteries in these black section here, and then you click on the button and it will turn on. So that one I understand. And there's a smaller one which technically works the same way, as far as I can tell, but goes into the head. However, even after putting in the batteries, even the manual does not exactly tell you how to turn on the head LED, and I still haven't figured that out as well. I technically haven't checked out other reviews, but there's no, as far as I can tell, there's no button to press on the head to turn it on. The way you put it in the LED gimmick is really just simple. So my only guess is that you have to turn on the LED and then slide it inside the head and then close up the head, which is going to be a really pain in the butt. But once again, I am not going to demonstrate that because it's not the best placement, if you ask me. Or I really don't think having an LED inside the head was necessary in the first place, because it looks already cool enough. Of course, I'm pretty sure some people want the red section on the head to shine. I think that's the main purpose of the LED, but I am very satisfied with it, so I think I'm going to take away the LED after the review. Alright, so that's that. So as I mentioned, you get 3 of these type of LEDs, and then big giant one for the effect part. And since we are on the LED section, they actually give you batteries for the LED parts. So that's a very big bonus, because these type of batteries are not common, and they actually give you 3 types of different batteries. So each LED part actually requires a different LED battery, and they actually give you some spares, which is very nice. Just want to mention, and yeah, you can definitely tell they are definitely licensed at this point. Alright, so these parts are leftover parts for the action base. Yes, I should mention that they actually give you a very, very nice action base with a very stable and sturdy action base stands. These are very, very tight and sturdy, so they're not the same as the one like you get from for example, the RG Xeon. They're not wobbly, they can pretty much stand on their own. So those are very tight. And too tight to the point where I actually broke one of these stands while assembling them. Not entirely as I broke the thing. There was a crack on the joints basically after applying. So that's how sturdy it is. So if you're having trouble getting them all the way in, you need to sand them down. And a very nice action base. I really like this design. They even have the, let me see, okay, the Mega Man 0 logo on the action base. So that's something, definitely. So once again, these parts are for pretty much extending the action base parts, but since if you're only building this, or if you only have this, you won't be using these at all. Alright, so let's see. Here are some leftover parts. So if you just saw the back here, we have like a hole for the action base here. But if you don't like having that hole on the back, you can take that piece off and then cover up the peg holes with these small blue pieces. So when you're first building this kit, you technically start with these, but later in the manual they tell you that you can take these off and then attach that part on the back so you can attach a action base. So really up to you. And we have this mechanical robot face. So if you've seen the promo pictures, you might have seen this as a promo picture, the skeleton frame. So you can, if you don't like to build this for some reason, you can ignore all the armor parts and then take off everything and just build the inner frame and make this one. And this is the face that you need to use to make that. So really up to you. So I can kind of imagine having maybe people buying 2 of these to have one of this and one of this. So really up to you, but I really thought it was a cool concept. I won't be showing it because it's not a good idea to, at this point, take off the armor entirely, because it's going to be a lot of work. Alright, and I would like to mention that this is for the first time in my channel, or for the first time of all the stuff I've bought, this is the first time actually having a kit or a product having a actual human, having a human face. So all the stuff I reviewed, Gunpla, their mecha, all the figures like Robot Damashi, they're mecha, technically Kamen Rider figures, SHA Figure Arts, they're humans on the inside, but you don't actually see their face. Granted, there are some figures out there that do provide the face, but you get the idea. So this is my first time actually having something that actually has a facial feature or expression. So I was kind of worried about that. I thought it would be really awkward for me, but I'm getting used to it. So the face, you get two, you technically get four, but two of them came pre-painted. So here is a blank, emotionless face going on here. Of course, there's technically supposed to be a lip, but apparently it's not really easy to see, but you kind of see it when depending on the angle. And then there's one that's pretty much meant for an action like poses too, like with an open, like angry face going on there. So any Xbuster shot pose you want to do, you go with that face, because swapping out faces are not that easy as you think. So once again, I do suggest that you don't go with this, you go with the open mouse version if you want to pose him in shot poses. And then we get two more faces, but these are blank, because we get some water slides for the eyes. And as everybody knows, I'm not a big fan of water slides, but you get you get actually two sets. So one is pretty much a spare, so you have multiple eyes, but most of them, they just look pretty similar. Just a neutral eyes, the ones that are looking left and right, and then closed ones. So it's really up to you. Or you can pretty much use like combinations of each eyes. So that's that. And finally, the sticker sheet. The sticker sheet wasn't that great, because number one, you do have to apply some of these, but when you're actually building this, they actually tell you to apply number sticker 11. And as you can see, there's no numbers on these. So in order to know which number is which, you have to actually go onto the manual on the first on the page where it shows all the plot plates, like in Gunpla. So this is like that typical page where it shows which part is which. On the manual, they do show you like the numbers on the manual, not on the sticker sheet itself. So you have to constantly go forward and backward, or you just, label them yourselves early and then start building. Okay, we're almost there with the components. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about this kit, so expect a long review. Alright, so let's go over some leftover parts. So here we have some leftover parts. I'm kind of surprised to have some leftover parts. So these are the E-plates. So E-plates, there's one here, which is a repeat from the larger E-plate. So I'm assuming this is some sort of like an elbow armor, and then we get this part, which looks like some sort of head or chest armor. My only guess is that these parts are from not Mega Man Copy X, but Mega Man Zero kit. So I assume they recycled some parts from the Mega Man Zero kit from Eastern Model, so which is why we have some of those. And I think the B plate is also pretty much the proof. And technically, yeah, here on the plates there are some that is written Mega Man Zero. So yeah, so we have the head parts. We even have some gun parts as well. Although I think you can only make one gun. Yeah. I think you can make the gun, but I'm not too sure. I don't have the manuals, but it looks like you can make the manual. And here we have some head parts and other parts that I have no idea what they are. And then this one is technically the Mega Man Copy X part. Well, this one also says 0, but yeah, this is pretty much a repeat of the plate we actually have, but in a different color. So yeah. And some leftover parts. So number one, we get more extension parts for the action base. This one is actually cracked on the joints, but I still have two more. And then this part, so basically you do get a clear version of all the red parts. So if you want to have a clear parts of these, well, be my guest. And finally, this is not a leftover part, but this is like a, how should I say, a pre-order bonus. So as far as I understood, if you pre-order this at a certain timing, you would get these badges. So yeah, I mean, I know there are people out there who like to collect these kind of stuff. I'm not the biggest fan, but yeah, definitely nice to have these. Alright, we're finally done with the components. That was a lot of stuff, but I think it was worthy of showing that. This kit is worth it. And this kit isn't as expensive as I expected. But before we go on to the review, let's go do a size comparison, because I'm pretty sure some people out there are curious on how the size or height this thing is. So here is a typical size HG kit. I know it's a premium Bandai kit, but size-wise, it's pretty much a typical HG Origins kit size. You can see it's definitely taller than an HG kit, and I would say it's slightly smaller than a Master Grade. So height-wise, it's between a typical HG and typical Master Grade size. So you get the idea. So it's not a small size. Of course, he is on the slim side. I'll admit that. But then again, yeah. Alright, so actually let me get rid of this because this is actually getting in my way. Alright, so let's go over articulation here. So the head, definitely liking the head. So okay, so the plastic wise, it's okay. It's not exactly the same type of plastic that Bandai uses on their Gunpla, but it's a workable plastic. It actually works pretty well. I think they're the kind of same type, but it's just a quality difference. But once again, it doesn't feel cheap at all. It looks really professional. I would like to mention that out. And I think I believe like 90% of the pieces were undergated, which was technically a pain to sand off every single nub mark. But still, I know a lot of people out there prefer to have kits undergated. So the heads, once again, I have no idea how to turn on the LED switch. So if anybody knows how in this form, do let me know. Unless it's the annoying take the LED out, press the button, and then push it back in. And yeah, I'm gonna get rid of the LED. So the head, it can go down that much and up that much. This is technically a ball joint, and there is no polycap style pieces. There was one plate that had a different feeling, but it was definitely not polycap. So you can go up and down and up that much, and then 360. Technically, I would say it is possible. Technically, he is a humanoid android kind of thing, so I guess he would be able to do that. But that red piece on the neck doesn't really lock into place, so it will move together time to time. Now the waist joint has something interesting here. So you have this system where you can click it in, and you can slightly pull it out. I'm not sure you can see that, but you can slightly do that. And once it's in, you don't have much movement. But once you click it out, you do have slightly more movement going on here. It's not a big difference, but still, it's just there. Unless I have to pull it out more, but the peg inside, if I remember correctly, was not as long as you think, and the gap wasn't that much. And on the bottom section, we do have an extra app. We can move more to get a more app crunchy, articulation kind of thing going on here. And the back, nothing too special. Very simple looking back, but I do appreciate all the color separation here. So there are only a few stickers I was able to apply, because I only applied most of the red ones, because the silver ones, they really didn't pop out that much. So one example would be on the legs, like this one on the sides, and then these ones on the legs. So I think those are the only ones, and maybe no, yeah, these are the only ones I applied. So like these red ones, they're all color separated pieces. So the color separation is fantastic. So even though you don't apply the stickers, I don't think you'll notice it as well. Okay, so the arms were pretty okay. Of course, building the inside parts, the joints were not easy, but it works. So we have your forward and backward shoulder movement going on here, very nice. And we have a flapping shoulder joint or shoulder armor going on here, and we can move the arm about 90 degrees to the side, and the 360 twist is no problem at all. And then we can technically these were, I believe, yeah, are on ball joints. Yeah, these are ball jointed ones, so no problem in rotating them 360 as well. And they do click in nicely, so they're not loose at all. And we have a nice, yeah, more than 90 degree bends. I think this is applicable, so it's okay. And then hands are your typical ball, well, not typical, but yeah, oops. So yeah, the wrist actually has a joint there going on. So let me just reapply that. So you have a wrist joint that can move side to side like that. Of course, it depends on where you position the joints. And hands are ball jointed hands, but I think you guys already know that by showing. When I showed the not leftover, but the other open style hands. They're just ball joints. They work pretty much as you expected, so no need to worry about that. Alright, so, and yeah, the arms are definitely on the slim side. And if you want to apply the Xbuster, you just need to pop off the arm and then replace them with the Xbuster. And definitely, whoops, something just popped out, but I'll figure it out later. Yeah, so here we have this part. Definitely loving the design here. Alright, so yeah, some parts something did just pop off, but I'm not gonna say it's because it's loose. It's just that I may have touched the piece going on here when doing so. Sorry about that. This is eating some time, but hopefully, yeah, I'll fix that later. Alright, so we've seen the Xbuster. Yeah, this is the one without the LED, but still, I would say it's a really cool looking design here. Alright, now let's look at the waist/slide. So the waist, there's not much to talk about. There are some side skirts, but these are technically like not really covering up, and they all are in ball joint format. And then leg wise, we have a nice, let's see, if I remember correctly, these are technically side swivels, but because of the design, it's not really going 360. And then, oh yeah, regarding the main body, I wouldn't say that there you go 360 as well. The upper body, maybe if you force it, but once again, I do not suggest you do that. And then the side swivel is present, and then you can go about 90 degrees to the front. And the joints are not ball joints, they are just pegs going on here. Sometimes, depending when you move the leg, it might slightly pop out, so you need to push it back in. And then backwards, almost 90 degrees as well. And then you can go to the side about slightly 90 degrees or more than 90 degrees, but you get the general idea. And then the bend on the legs, let's see what we got. So, ooh, that's a nice bend going on here. It's just the armor design that's actually colliding in the way, but that's a very nice design. Also, we have a nice ankle guard here that moves like this, and then we have nice, there is a ball joint there, so you can move. You can have a nice pivot going on here, but there is technically another joint on the feet, so to give you an extra pivot. So, posing this kit is going to be really easy than you think. All right, so we've seen the basics of the kit. So, I would say it's really hard to compare it with Gunpla because this is technically on a different category when you think about it. But still, I really love the design. At this point from Eastern Models, I would love to see more characters from the same game because there are other like boss type characters that were really cool from the game. So I would love to see more of those as well. Anyway, so we're done with the articulation. I'll be right back to do some demonstration with its equipment. Okay, I'm back. So here it is, basically one of the most basic poses you can technically do with the Xbuster going on here. You give the open hand on the left arm and then the Xbuster on the right arm, and here we have some blasting poses. Or if you don't like to do the small one, you can always take it off and then replace it with this one. So definitely a much more impact looking one. It's just a shame that there's no way to actually attach onto the Buster, but then again, yeah, that's going to be really tricky because there's this is actually a very, very heavy effect part. It's not light, it's actually very heavy. So I can kind of understand why that wouldn't be the exact case going on here. And regarding the articulation, I forgot to mention that on the legs there was one more extra weird articulation I've noticed, is that you can actually rotate the lower leg like this. So yeah, if you want to reposition like in a more stable look, you need to also consider this one as well, because I remember last night trying to get this back on a neutral pose, I was having trouble because of that aspect. But once again, you can always choose between the small one and the big effect part. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the basic one, so I'll be right back with the other effect parts as well. Okay, so since we do get two Xbusters, as I mentioned, and since the swapping gimmick is so simple, you could always do a double Xbusters on the arm. I don't think this has actually been officially seen in any games or any animations we've seen so far regarding, other than maybe a specific certain anime, but still, yeah, it's possible to do this. And for those who are curious, like, the arm articulation actually with the Xbuster is slightly better if you ask me, so... I think it goes slightly more, but it's not. It's basically the same, same rule. So more than 90 degrees. So yeah, this is the red part I was talking about. Now I'm actually having trouble getting that part out. So I guess I'm gonna have to keep one as well. Now I guess it does look better with the red part inside, because that's how usually most the Xbuster has been depicted. Now there is another red piece on the inside, but doesn't really show that well. So I think this might be a better choice. Okay, so I think there's only one thing left to show, which is the dashing effect part, and let's hope I can do it this time. Okay, so after fiddling around for 15 minutes, I could not figure out how to do the dash pose. So I can get the pose right, but getting this set up was almost impossible, because even in the picture, there's no actual action base here. It's just floating in air, and then yeah, I was trying to get the kit to float around, but the action-based stands are not as strong enough to actually maintain that balance. And yeah, so I'm sorry for not being able to demonstrate this pose properly, but yeah. But the dash pose can be used in multiple ways, like in this way, because like he's like firing and then he's sliding at the same time, although I do have some questions on the feet right over there, but still, still works pretty well. And that is pretty much it for the review of the Eastern model Mega Man Copy X model kit. So I really like this kit. I would love to see more, especially not maybe, well, since Zero is already out, I would like to see some other characters from the same game as a model kit, because if it's this quality, I have no problems at all, because this kit has excellent color separation. Excellent color separation. It has a lot of fun LED gimmicks. It has a lot of fun effect parts, and it's just overall a unique, kit to the hobby at the moment. So anyway, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the Eastern model Copy X. If you guys got any questions or requests, comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.